Hi, welcome to my channel Mostly Knitting. I'm Tash and I'm recording on Wednesday the 8th of March 2023. In this video I'm going to be showing one finished object which I'm wearing. I don't have any new cast-ons. I'm going to be showing some progress on my whips, my faux from the vault, and just a little bit of chatter about my week. I'm trying to squeeze in a recording before I run off to parent-teacher this afternoon. Right, so what I'm wearing, this is Misurina by Caitlin Hunter. I used Tosh Merino Light in charcoal, this is the grey, and then Hedgehog fibres, skinny singles in the colourway Damask, that's the pink. I'm really happy with how it came out. I nearly ran out of yarn. Well, I did run out of the charcoal, and I knew that I wasn't going to have enough, at least it wasn't going to be long enough. I'll just stand back so you can see. These are the black pants that I needed to, that I had somebody else mend. Yeah, and I think it looks pretty nice with those, or with a skirt. So I had to do the cuffs in the Hedgehog fibres, and I'm actually really glad I did. Like, I'm quite glad. I think that's fortuitous. I think it's even nicer than if I'd done the whole lot of it in charcoal. So I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it had like maybe about 150 grams of the charcoal. I'll have to wait, sorry, bad podcaster. Yeah, but I used a 3mm needle for all the ribbing, and the ribbing I just did, I don't even know what the pattern said. I did a 1x1 twisted rib. The rest of the pattern I followed as it was written. Yeah, I love it. I think it's really, I love this design. I think it's really pretty. It's a little funny that kind of some of this weird pooling with the charcoal are in these sort of unfortunate spots right across sort of here, but you know, it's fine. I'm going to wear it. It's not a problem. So yeah, so really happy with how that came out. So that's my one finished object. My whips. So I have the Musselburgh hat. I ripped out because I wasn't happy with it on a 3.25mm needle, and I'm not even as far as I was last time. So I've still got a lot to go, and I'm pretty much going to knit until almost all of that's run out, until, you know, I'm about halfway, and then I'll use the reaching in the Hedgehog fibres skinny singles. So this is Skein Uptown sock in the colourway Wisp, and this is Hedgehog. This will be the other half of the Musselburgh hat. I'm feeling a bit discombobulated because I'm rushing, so sorry. Just calm myself down a little bit. Yes. So this is the Musselburgh hat. I can't even remember if I said that. And I'm using a 3.25mm needle. I ripped it out from the 3.5 because I wasn't happy with it. And then I restarted it on a 3.25. And so, yeah, that's my playground knitting. I'm happy about that. What else have I got for works in progress? I have these socks. I have the finished sock. I already showed that. I haven't even woven in the ends yet. And then I'm that far on the second one. So, you know, actually that's pretty good. You know, I haven't got too much to go to finish that sock. And I don't have that many works in progress on the needles at the moment, so each thing's getting a decent amount of attention. And of course I finished this one. The other thing that's on the needles is the Ebb Dress by, sorry, I should say that these socks are in Coop knits, so this yarn is Coop knits socks here in the ruby colourway, and I knit on a 2.25mm needle, and that's what I do almost all my socks on. Okay, the Ebb Dress. So the Ebb Dress is by Olga Buraya-Kefelian, and I'm on to the second colour. I'm knitting it inside out, so it's actually the reverse stockinette is the presentation side, but I'm knitting it knitting all the stitches, not purling them. And I've split for the arms. It's amazing, like knitting in, you know, 4-ply yarn held double is actually like, you know, like a light worsted. So I'm getting 19 stitches over 4 inches. And so it's going really quickly. I have had to modify it just a little bit because I have 6 colours instead of 7, and my row gauge is a little taller, so I need less rows. I was a little bit careless with the yoke. In the first one that I did, I cut out some of the, instead of say increasing every 4th row here for the sleeves, you know, I might have increased every 3rd row in my first dress, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. So I sort of did every 4th row for a while, and then I switched to every 2nd. So I think it's going to be okay, because you can see I've only just split for the sleeves. I'm a little concerned that the yoke's going to be, it's only 2 rows longer than my previous one in the yoke, so it's probably going to be okay, but it's not quite ready to try on yet. So when I've got maybe about an inch, that won't take long, but when I've got about an inch underneath the sleeves, then I'll put it on a longer needle and try it on and just make sure I'm happy with the yoke length, and I might even block it in case it grows, because it is superwash yarn, and then try it on and just make sure that I'm happy with the yoke length, that it's not too long. Sorry if you can hear some noise in the background. My husband's working from home as well. Yeah, anyway, so that's how it's coming along. It's interesting, there's a provisional cast on under the arms, which I don't normally do. I normally just do a backwards loop cast on, and then pick up the stitches later. But because I'll be picking up the stitches on the knit side, I think that's the idea of having the backwards loop cast on, so that you get this, because when I look at my other one, you get a sort of a seamless, like you can't even see where you've picked up stitches, because it's been in, that's waste yarn, and then you're going to pick that out. So it's just going to look like, you know, one continuous line of knitting. So yeah, so I had to do a couple of provisional cast-ons under the arms, and yeah, so I'm quite keen to get about another inch and a half done of the body, and then I won't knit any more on it until I've blocked it and tried it on, because then if I'm not happy, then I've just spent way too much time on progress. It's just going to get ripped out. So when I've changed yarns, I've just started with a new, I'll show you when I actually do, because I am changing on the presentation side because I'm knitting, but then I'll just put these yarns on a tapestry needle and follow the path of the yarn around to the stockinette side and weave it in on that side. So yeah, so anyway, I'm happy that I'm up to colour 2, and I'm a fair way through that. And you do it based on rows, so that you've got the same, each stripe is as tall as the other stripes. So it's not even like measuring. I just go, oh, I've done 38 rows or 40 rows or whatever, done, next colour. So that's how that one's going. So there are all my works in progress. My faux from the vault. So it's always an interesting, each week I think, oh, what would be an interesting one to show? So if you have any, I don't know if you like, if there's any particular ones that you'd like me to show or talk about, you can have a look. I'm Tash Balaz, Tashbalaz on Ravelry. So feel free to have a look and see if there's anything that you're like, oh, I'd like you to show this. Hopefully it's something I still have and I haven't given away. Yeah, so this is the Stasis pullover. It was interesting when I was looking it up. It says it's by Leila Raven, but she must have changed her last name because it used to be Leila Raab. So anyway, I'm not sure why, but so it's Leila Raven. And the yarn I used was the exact pattern yarn and colours. So it's Brooklyn Tweed Loft in Snowbound, and Snowbound's the light grey, and Cast Iron's the black, I guess. So I really enjoy, I love this sweater. I actually have worn this a lot. I've realised this sweater is 10 years old. So it's holding up, I'll show it quite close. I think it's holding up really well. Yeah, it is. It's definitely one of my favourites. I just love the design. I was a bit unhappy with Loft. This is my first time using Loft, and I didn't sort of realise just how fragile it was. I mean, I figured it out and it was okay, and I was very gentle with it. It felt splices really nicely. It's a woolen spun yarn. It's so light, like 50 grams of Loft is 250 meters. So the yardage is amazing. It's a reasonably expensive yarn, but so my alarm just went off telling me to get ready for parent teacher. So I'll try not to rush this too much. I just have a lot coming up the next few days. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to record, so I wanted to put this one out. Anyway, so the yarn is very fragile. It has really good yardage, but I did notice, so because you've got this colour work down here, one of my floats, like it was the first time I was wearing it, one of my floats caught on my jeans belt loop, and it actually snapped. So you can see here, it actually snapped. I was so devastated. I was like, ah. Anyway, all I ended up doing was tying a little, like finding it and tying a knot in it, and that was okay. And I haven't had any more problems since. I'm just a bit more careful when I wear it now. But I did keep some of the little bit of leftovers that I had just in case anything else sort of, you know, breaks or needs mending. And I usually do that anyway, especially with sweaters. I always have a little bit of the leftovers on hand in case I need to. I had to do a lot of fixing, to be honest, but yeah, just in case I do have some. I don't think I have any other comments on it. They did do like a remake of this pattern, and then I guess a sort of brand or whatever, and they made it up in Peary, which is their worsted spun fingering weight yarn, which I don't really love that yarn actually. I'm not a big fan. I have made a sweater out of it. It was a Jennifer Steingast pattern, New Leaf. I made New Leaf out of Peary, and then with a spin cycle contrast. So, but the body of it was Peary. I just didn't really particularly enjoy. It's not a horrible yarn. Just it's reasonably expensive too, and I didn't really love it that much, so I wouldn't buy it again. But it looks, I mean, it looks nice. I just didn't. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this is a reasonably expensive yarn. I found a good substitute is Rowan Felted Tweed DK. Even though it says DK, it's a really light DK. It's 50 grams with 175 meters. So definitely not the yardage of Loft, but still substantially cheaper. And it's a nice yarn too. I've made quite a few things out of it. So I have made some patterns that have been meant for Loft. I've used Rowan Felted Tweed DK and just sort of sized down a little bit. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Anyway, I would like to make another one. An interesting thing about this color, this is a bottom-up sweater actually, and I played yarn chicken on it, which was quite scary with a bottom-up sweater because there's no wiggle room. You can't just make the sleeves a bit shorter. But there's absolutely no increase. So working bottom-up, there's no increases in the colorwork part of the yoke. So that's quite a lot of the pattern to be all the same circumference. But then with blocking, it actually worked out okay, and it does fit nicely. I'll put a picture of myself wearing it up there if I yeah. So anyway, that's my Stasis pullover, and I would make another one. I really like it, but there's so many other patterns. And anyway, yes, I would make it. I just like that that yoke design. Okay, so plans. I do still want to make another Ilha in the Chirp, but I haven't, and this is the Life in the Long Grass Merino singles, but I do need to do the maths on that, and it will be another dress. I do need to work out just what size to make because my gauge is much lighter. Sorry if I'm repeating myself and you've already, but I've just, say it quickly. This is what I said last. I'm still waiting on the yarn for, that mohair yarn from, if you've watched my previous podcast. I've got some, I'll just show you, I've got some, what's this? Madeline Tosh Pashmina in the colorway Dust Weaver, and I have 3 skeins of that, and I'm waiting on, I'll put a picture up here of a mohair to go with it to make another version of the Ingle sweater, but I still also have to figure out a contrast. I reckon I'm going to go purple. I don't know what is it with me in purple at the moment, but I reckon like kind of a nice purple contrast, although I don't know. Anyway, not sure. I'll think about it. What else do I want to make? I still want to make a ranunculus, another ranunculus out of this Julie Asselin Anatolia in Clementine. I'm just not sure what I'm going to cast on next. Maybe this one. This is really quite different in colour to everything I've been making, so that kind of seems a bit exciting. I actually was tempted. I thought, maybe instead of a ranunculus for this, I'll do a sorrel. But yeah, I think I'm keen for another ranunculus, just a fully mohair one. So I still have my pink and purple sorrels that I'll make after I've finished all of the, after I finish the ebb dress. There it is. Sorry, everything's all over the place at the moment. You should see, if I turn the camera around, stuff everywhere. Okay, the pink and purples from the pink and from the ebb dress that I'll use for the sorrels. I'll try not to do these podcasts when I'm in a rush. But I'm sort of trying to do one a week. Maybe it's better to just not do it if I'm in a rush. I'm not sure, but I really want to. Like, I've already planned everything and the things I want to talk about. So anyway, so sorry if it's a little bit, if I'm a little bit scatty. And I will make, when I finish those socks, I will start the Climb socks by Jane Richmond. I probably won't use the pattern because I want my socks to be kind of autopilot, and so it's really just the so I want to use the pattern that I know, and then which is the fingering weight socks with Gusset heel by Wendy Johnson. But I would like to just do the colour from the Climb socks. I really like the grey, white and red colour, sort of sporty look. So they're my plans. I don't have any sewing this week, and so if you're heading off now, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, if you could like the video, even though it's been a little bit there, if you could like and subscribe, that would be great. Personal stuff now, and then I better go run. So I've had a lot of marking to do. I haven't had as much time to knit or do other stuff. It's been stinking hot here. It was 39 degrees the other day, which is 102 Fahrenheit. So just staying cool in the air conditioning. So I have been getting out for a run, but just going early in the morning. I'll put in some video and some photos at the end of, I've been seeing a lot of rainbow lorikeets and rosellas. There's a lot of them in our area. They're so pretty. So I'll put in maybe some photos and some videos at the end. And yeah, what else? So you know I'm going to run off to parent-teacher night in a minute. I don't actually have that many interviews. I've only got about 5 or 6, and they're all students that are seniors, and they're doing their HSC in a few months, and they're all really focused, so it should be like a very easy and, you know, nice parent-teacher, just saying lots of nice things about my students, which I do anyway, but just these ones they're all really committed, and I'm very fortunate. I've got really lovely classes and I work at a really great school. So yeah, the only other thing that's been on my mind a lot lately is my dad hasn't been really well, so I'll be visiting him a lot more. I don't know how long I have left with him. He has emphysema, so his lung capacity is really reduced, and he just really struggles with his breathing, and he's got a lot of really bad fluid retention, and so his legs are all have to be bandaged every day, and yeah, he's not in a great way. So, and I'm very close to him, and yeah, so that's yeah, that's where a lot of my energy is going at the moment, and the kids, which is right, you know, that's just how life is. I want to spend time with him for as long as I'm able. Yeah, anyway, I guess I better run. I am sorry that I felt like I was organised, and then maybe it's just whenever you're a bit adrenaline because you know you got to be somewhere, it's not the most relaxed. So anyway, sorry if I've given you some of my knitting podcasts are meant to be just sit and knit and relax. So I hope you're all relaxed. Yeah, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.